taken over.
This is 37 years of marriage here.
All right.
It all started. I knew something was wrong the night we were married.
That's not on here.
When during the ceremony, she had a bouquet of flowers. And by the time the ceremony was over, there was not one flower on the bouquet. This has been a nervous relationship.
You're supposed to keep guessing, I heard.
Toni and I, the first 10 years of our lives was basically getting to know each other and to have fun. Then we decided to have some children. We had 3. We had a beautiful little blonde girl who's now pushing 30. And we have a 27-year-old gal who's married. And we have a 21-year-old son.
The other case.
The other case. We'll never forgive you, Nancy, for taking that. We had decided many years in advance that the name of the son, if we had a son, was going to be Casey. Well, all of a sudden, here comes Nancy and says, "I'm pregnant, and guess what the name is I chose?" Well, we would say, "Yeah!"
But we didn't know how to spell that, so.
Over the years, we've learned from each other, and it's important, kids, in faith, that you learn the likes and dislikes of your partner. You need to learn to respect each other. Another major item in marriage is the commitment. You started on a road of a commitment. However, I can't read that with your hand. That's not part of the commitment.
Help each other.
One of the things that you do not have, that some people out here have, and some more than others, is this magic word called wisdom. It's something you only gain through years of your lives together. Someone up here earlier said that this preaching to you sort of thing, they're not really preaching, they're trying to give you some words of wisdom. When your parents are telling you things, it's words of wisdom. When your friends are telling you things. However, in the real world, only believe half of what you hear. Because they realize that they obtained that wisdom through mistakes they made. And it's very important that you learn how to accumulate wisdom through making your mistakes. Your lives together need to be structured. You know, today, we're talking about 2002. And as I was telling Joe earlier, I remember when this is 1946, when I used to sit on the front porch of my grandfather's farmhouse in front of Route 40, which is the old National Trail that used to go all the way from Philadelphia to the the West Coast. This was where the original settlers used to travel this road. It's called the Old National Trail, Route 40, which is now Interstate 70. We used to sit on their front porch and eat a pint of ice cream. And in 30 minutes, we were lucky to see one car go by. Well, today, you couldn't even count the cars going by. Your head would be torn out. So, in today's world, you need to structure your lives. Don't let society, everything else get in the way of you. Trust. Very difficult, but it takes time. Responsibility. Same thing. You all heard this saying, to know one is to love them. There again, in today's world, it's difficult to know other people. So how can we love them unless we really work at it? But there's a lot of people to love out there. This is a great world that we're in. However, you're going to have expectations of that love with other people that will be questioned by you and will be challenged by you on a daily basis. You haven't said anything yet. Oh, okay.
Make a mistake.
Some things that you need to know in your marriage. Do you realize that there's only 24 hours in a day? You won't think there will be 5 years, 10 years from now. You're going to say, well, guys, isn't there 30? Back to the structure, 24 hours a day. You have to keep time for yourselves. Energy. It takes a lot of energy for a marriage. A lot of energy. Another most important thing is planning. Planning your lives a little bit. You can talk about marriage as being an institution, being a business, whatever you want to call it. But, it's nice to be able to plan things. Have some goals, have some ambitions, some goals that the two of you want to achieve. Naturally, short-term goals, medium goals, and long-term goals. Short-term goal maybe have to do with money, and long and short. It may have to be with raising a family, building a home, all those sort of things. But you need to write it down so that you both agree to it. Sit down at the kitchen table and you have a weekly meeting.
In between peanut butter and jelly. That's worked well for us.
Peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah.
You were really good at that.
I added the jelly 5 years later to sneak variety into it.
That's because I remember that when that first week we were married, Toni was...
Okay, the roast. Roast that I fixed in 5 minutes.
She was not into the cooking thing. Her mother was. She lived at home. And so she decided to fix this nice big roast and mashed potatoes and gravy. And she said, gravy? And of course, I don't know too many women in the world that don't know how to make gravy. Very few do. That was a cut. Anyhow, she said, now, let's see now, was it 1 tablespoon or 1 cup of flour?
We had paste for our scrapbook.
That was the most wonderful paste I ever ate in my life. Instead of about 2 or 3 cups of gravy, we had 5 gallons.
Sticks to your ribs.
Communications. Isn't it wonderful to have communications with your spouse? After 37 years, I still haven't learned that yet. Talk to one another. However, the most important item is to listen. We can all talk, but it's very difficult to listen and to comprehend what they're saying. Because now, Casey, she's going to speak in a lingo you've never heard before. It's called woman talk. In Faith, the same thing. He's going to talk like a man. What does that mean? Okay, well, you'll learn soon enough. My favorite saying is that there are always other possibilities. Haven't I told you that before? Just remember that. There are always other possibilities. Now, the last thing is, I usually try to operate on the KISS program, and I keep it simple, Sab. I mean, you've all heard that at one time or another. These 4 things to do with marriage. The physical aspects of marriage. I think so many married people over the years, they forget before they were married, one of the most important things that they ever did physically was they touched each other. They held hands. Do they still do that? Maybe, maybe not. But that holding hands is your link to your other half. Because as you get older, right now you're not one. You will be one. But you always need that physical contact. Always touch. There's nothing wrong with hugging and touching. You need to do that. Now, this is different for each of you. But there's this magical word called romance in a marriage. Romance, from a woman's point of view,
I learned something in 37 years, I'll tell you.
is that you have to have the right atmosphere. I mean, you just come home, you get a box of candy and say, "Hi, babe, I love you." That is not going to do that. There has to be an atmosphere. Each of you have to have an attitude about romance. Romance is a unique thing, but as married couples, we tend to drift away from that romance. But we had it before we got married, didn't we? So, it's going to make a great marriage if you can keep that romance, that flame lit for a long time. Happiness. What does it mean? Pleasure, contentment, joyful. That's only going to occur in your marriage if you go back to so many of these other things, because happiness only comes from meeting your goals, doing what you need to do for yourselves. The minute you let other external things, like stress from your job, whatever it's going to be, mothers and father-in-laws. Oh. That will inhibit that joyful feeling, okay? We have to stay with joy. The greatest thing that you both have given each other is this gift of love. Love is affection, admiration. You need to cherish her. You have to have passion with your marriage. I want to leave you with one parting word, which probably you will recognize more than she will. But Toni and I would wish you long life and prosper.
I do, but it's not this.
For you, many of you who do not know what that is, so look at that. Who knows what that means? Live long and prosper. Who said that? Yeah. Isn't that a wonderful thing? Live long and prosper. And my other famous thing is, may the force be with you.